This is Gabe Blythe. You know the drill, folks. I am a survivor of the end of the world. You also survived, and we're nerdy enough to turn on a radio, and you decided to listen to me babble and drone on and on. We've been through a lot together, you and I. Or maybe you're not the same person who started listening as we began this whole escapade for survival. It's been a while since all of this started. I think this is one of those times where I'm feeling really nostalgic. The times before we were doing this. There's a peace in the mundane. I had this theory in my head for a while that nostalgia is far more of a complex issue than we give it credit. Corporations would sell you nostalgia, rebrand, remake, and redo your favorite childhood games, movies, toys, purely based on their greed. They're not doing it to make you happy, they're doing it to make money. They know we will never be able to attain that piece of our past, but they think it's because we want to remember playing with our action figures or whatever. But sometimes, I think it's more than just playing games in your dorm with your buddies. Maybe it's one of the last times that you felt safe. Maybe they do know. I'm probably being extremely naive. Our Q would happily say as much. There was one day that I was in between jobs, and I was really loading up my credit card. Of course, I was doing everything just to get by, pinching every penny that I could. I think my DNA will forever be altered by the amount of sodium I consumed in the instant ramen stuff. I was at a store that sells discounted goods, mostly the stuff that was poorly labeled or had fallen off the back of a truck, maybe even expired, but damn, was it not the cheapest place to buy food. I am so proud of this. I would never be able to do this in another life, but I was able to budget down to the cent what I could afford to buy. There were no treats or tiny little snacks for me. And as much as I believed as I deserved one, working so hard on applying for new jobs day in, day out, selling my blood while doing online surveys on my phone to barely make any money, it was a full-time job to be this broke. So there I am at the checkout line with ramen that you could tell was run over by a car. The noodles were probably closer to a powder than their little block shape. Some eggs that were very suspicious, and some potatoes that were close to growing sentience. And everything scanned through, swiped my credit card, and it was declined. I had hit the limit. I wasn't really embarrassed, like a lot of people tend to be in that situation, or like defensive. So many times I know people who like, no, there's money on my card, I swear. I'm gonna call my bank and show you that I have money on my card. Because like, why would I care? If I were in her situation, this checkout lady, why would she care? Exactly. Like this person on the other end doesn't know what my life is. They're just doing their job. A job that I obviously would have taken in a heartbeat, mind you, but in that moment, I was suddenly nostalgic for campouts in my living room, where my mom and sisters and I would make a fort in the living room and read scary books by torch. Couch diving for change or being told we should go to every vending machine and check them for coins. Down, around, underneath. Even 20 years ago, we weren't using cash all that frequently, but every so often, we might find $1 or $2 worth of coins. When I was young, I worked as a janitor in a school. And I had a little cubby, not even a locker, just a wooden box to put a few things in. And I'd walk through the school building and I'd sweeping or cleaning or whatever it was. And I would pick up coins. Just whatever I could find. And I would keep all the coin in my little cubby. And I remember the day that I had to buy myself lunch with those coins. Mostly pennies. As an adult, I know what my mom was trying to do back then. I think even then, I knew what she was doing, you know? That way that you as a child understand something that you shouldn't have to. Everyone in the living room, not because we were having fun playtime, but to combine our body heat to keep warm, because the gas was shut off. Reading by flashlight, because we didn't have power to watch a show or listen to music or whatever. Those coins I mentioned, sometimes I would come home and combine them with what we had found, and we would get the cheapest of pizza. Now, dropping a $5 worth of coins, that is still embarrassing, no matter where you are. It sucks. It was more embarrassing than my card declining, that's for sure. Making some kid count out the coins one by one, I hated it. Oh my gosh. But it was all still novel as a kid. It was new and different, and that made it fun. And in my heart, I knew that even though times were hard, I was safe. If we had to go to the local storehouse or soup kitchen, it would be fine because the people around me, my family, were with me. And that made me feel safe. It made all of us feel safe. And here we are, doing a lot of the same things. Maybe not coin hunting in the cushions, but searching for any food that is still good, bundling up as close as you can to someone else for the heat. It's all the same. But for me, it's without the people that helped me make the experience memorable. No matter how nostalgic I may feel, I know it's not about what I was doing. Nostalgia can never really bring back that feeling of safety. That's what I truly long for these days. RQ and Lancelot are great. I don't think I would call them family, though. I talk to them a lot. I talk a lot at them, but I also talk a lot at you. The three of us are pretty close. I think the only thing that we don't talk about is my bathroom habits. If you asked, maybe we could bring that on the discussion topic rotation, but something tells me most of us aren't interested in that. That lack of family is... it's hitting me hard today. I think that's the scary idea for me. The world we left behind has to be our family, our connection or bond to each other, whatever you want to call it. I may never see another human soul again. You and I may never meet, which is a shame. I bet you have a super awesome secret talent. Great icebreaker, by the way. What's something you think you have a mastery of? Getting a chance to talk to someone about something they're excited about? Ooh, boy, that's infectious. And in those moments, you also get to see people who have a lack of enthusiasm for anything, and you know that they do not care about the world around them. And in that moment, you think, do you really want to be with someone who is selfish and... Been a while since I've pivoted this hard in quite some time. Sorry, but it's kind of what you're here for, right? We're so limited in number, we may not be able to get ourselves out of this hole. And maybe we shouldn't. We really screwed this place that we called home. I miss that family feeling. Feeling like someone has your back no matter what. Even when you're the biggest, stupidest jerk out there. They call you out on your mess and then help you clean it up. I miss that about you, Mom. What do you miss? Not just the basics, no video games or internet or specific food, but what's that thing that is the reason that you felt so safe? I thought for a long time that isolation was my safe space. I learned that it's the opportunity of safe space. Being alone as long as we have, it will really put your thoughts into perspective. I want to hear all about your dreams, all about your feelings, all about your thoughts and opinions, and even if you don't like mine, I want to know why. I want to get to know you more. That core piece of you. Not just the surface level stuff of, I loved Taco Tuesdays, or pizza was my favorite food. No, that's easy. That's simple stuff. I sound like the worst first date out there right now, don't I? I want to hear it regardless. You know so much about me, and I'd love to know more about you. So come find me. Come find us. Maybe the mysterious and aloof vibe is more your thing, and for that, RQ is here, ready to ignore you. Golden Retriever Himbo Xander would happily swap stories with you. The stories, by the way, are getting better and better, now that he can talk freely. Or we can just sit in comfortable silence, reading in our blanket fort with torches. No matter what you're craving, we're here. You aren't alone, and you don't have to be.